All right, good evening. I know it is. Okay. Good evening. It is 10:30, and just figured I'd try something new. Oops. Took a huge hit before I started. That was trippy. So, just doing my thing tonight. I'm kind of really not in the mood to talk, but I am in the mood to be online. There's lots of crap that's been going on, like I don't like Kimmel, but I don't like Jenna Marbles, but this cancel culture horseshit has to stop. Just pain in the neck. Like if you were convicted of a crime, like when I posted my video earlier, I said you shouldn't be held accountable for your past, but in some cases I'm wrong in that aspect. Like if you're convicted in a high court for something like murder or manslaughter, drug dealing, anything that'll hurt people or kill them, it's just not appropriate to, you got to be in jail for that one because, you did the cowardly thing, and sometimes it's by accident, sometimes it's not, but it depends on what you do or how the circumstances surrounding it. Like this blackface garbage, you're treating it like somebody just died. And I'm not backing up not doing it. Yeah, it's offensive. I will give it that much. But somebody who did it in their past shouldn't be held accountable for that. It was stupid, but people do stupid things. We were all young once. But, it is what it is. It's not really a tolerable thing, but, people are, I'm a young man. I'm 36 years old, and when I see people in blackface, like Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder, or our PM being stupid and wearing a fucking... We were all young once. I don't like Trudeau, but we were all young once. Can we just leave it at that? James Gunn got fired from Guardians of the Galaxy's Volume 3, and that shouldn't have happened. And then friggin' people are going after Kevin Hart for his crap from years ago before he was about to do the Oscars. And, he did the right thing backing out of it, because what you're thinking about something stupid as that, rather than the victories and defeats of your peers and colleagues. That's what these award shows are all about, is, victory and defeat. And people want to see their beloved stars get the recognition that they deserve. But Oh, excuse me. Like, and then this thing with cops defund the pigs is what I've been hearing. I'll tell you guys a story. My dad was a cop once, and I posted it on Facebook, but if anybody sees this, that's all good. But what had happened was Dad was in the middle of a drug bust there, and they were one of the people in the house decided to start eating the marijuana and the other drugs that were there, and Dad was trying to make him puke it up by sticking his, but the guy kept biting him and biting him and biting him and biting him and biting him, and I was like, next thing you know, I get a phone call, and I'm 10 years old at the time, and yeah, it's Beverly there, my mother, and I said no, and this lady said to me, your dad's in the hospital for an injury at work. Somebody bit his finger, nearly bit it off. When I hear somebody say defund the cops, I hear your dad sucks. And my dad, as a cop, as a constable of the police, he did not suck. He did his job well. And, it just pisses me off whenever I hear defund the cops. Like I had a long conversation with one of my buddies about this, and, get rid of, there should be a registration for people, like, say, if you got fired in Wisconsin, you shouldn't be able to get a job as a cop in Rhode Island. But unfortunately, there's nothing like that. Like, they don't even have that for EMS workers, because I hear a lot of stories about people who have they tend to get high on the company's supply, and that's no good, especially for people who need help. But anyways, Black Lives Matter. I watched the videos of George Floyd, and I agree that two of those cops, just two, were acting like thugs. And those two, I know for a fact, are going to get off, because the way the video was set up and the way George Floyd was resisting arrest. I'm sorry, I got to break it to you harshly on that one. They're going to get off. Two of them for sure. Two of them, depending on what the judge sees as evidence or the jury sees as evidence, I hope to God they go up the river, but I have a feeling they're going to be let off like usual. But I don't have anything against Black Lives Matter. I don't have anything against Indigenous Lives Matter. But I do have a problem with resisting arrest and trespassing. But that'll be a story for another day. I can't wait to go fishing next week, because I've been stressed out this last week with my anxiety and depression, and I've been helping Dad quite a bit. I helped my neighbor take some stuff to the landfill, and she seemed pretty appreciative about that. And, it was, like I've been having sunstroke all week. Like I don't know if anybody can tell, but my nose is all red, and it's been peeling. And I'm not going shirtless tonight because my whole body is just completely pink. There, I'm wearing pink face. Anybody who says that can Me Too me and I'll fuck you up. But speaking of Me Too, good on Angry Joe for what he did. Checking with your legal team is a pretty good acknowledgement of not guilt, but innocence to a certain degree. He told his side of the story. She told her side. Now there's the truth. Nobody knows what the truth is except those two. And that's all it's going to be. That zombie unicorn that's after Pro Syndicate. I've had girlfriends in the past, and I was the big V in high school, and I was the big V up until I met my wife. And consent. That's all you got is consent. And it's just really, like there are other birth control methods. It's not just the pill or the if you're allergic to one, then it's not a big deal. But going after him 2 years later, go to the police. Just go to the police. It worked out well for Bill Cosby, and it worked out well for Harvey Weinstein. They were both convicted of their sex crimes. And it is what it is, like people, they got to make a statement somehow. The only person that I think should be in jail right now is Zoe Quinn, because what she did to that game developer with him committing suicide, that she should be held accountable for that, because she was the one that opened that can of worms and shit happened. But it's not happening. She'll go off free and scot-free until somebody Me Too's her. But I don't want to talk about that. It really blows my blood whenever I talk about that woman. And, it's, and then we got the Keemstar H3 drama. Just shut up. Both of you, just shut up. That's all I'm going to say about that. Just shut up. Excuse me. Anyways, talk about myself for a little bit. For another year, I was supposed to be taking 7 grams a day, but I can't take 7 grams a day, so I just decided to lower my dosage, and I now take 2 grams a day instead of 7, and I feel better. I feel better about it. Like you know, it is what it is. But I got a lot of family members that are not particularly fond of me talking about or even mentioning that I smoke marijuana. But really, what I do in behind the scenes is whenever I dose myself, it's either through CBD or half and half. It's never well. Sometimes it'll be the 20 milligrams. It just depends on what it is, but just 2 squirts and I'll be fine. And like smoking it, all it does is just raise my blood pressure. Like, yeah, it's good for me when it's good for me when I trying to think now. It's good for me when I'm high strung and then I need to slow my mind down. But it has to be immediate, so obviously that's why the smoking comes into play. Raises my blood pressure, but it helps my mind slow down. And CBD helps me sleep. I take my medication, and I've talked to pharmacists about marijuana and the pills that I take, like paroxetine. I'm not going to name all the drugs that I take for my PTSD, but it's, it helps. It really does. It is what it is, but like some of the old drugs that I took, they're like pharmaceutical drugs, not hippie drugs or street drugs. Like I didn't even start smoking marijuana until I was 34 years old, and I'm 36 now, and I started it because I had a real bad panic attack, and I was off work for 2 weeks. I was trying to make ends meet and everything. And then when I finally met my new doctor around that time, he said, "You have PTSD. It's not an anxiety disorder. It's just you have PTSD." Oh, he's like, just figure out some of the stuff that sets you off. And what you're going to do is you're going to start looking for a doctor who can prescribe you medical marijuana, because I don't have the research for it. Like, yeah, that's fine. I can do that. And I did. Found him. He's no longer practicing, but I have my ways to get it now. But like my dad, he doesn't like it one bit, and neither does my mother-in-law. My dad was a cop for how many years, and I can see where where he comes from when it comes to usage and legally obtaining it. And anyways, that's just my story for for the last couple months, like COVID is one thing, like I can't even find a job. Like I'm unemployed and I'm looking for a job, and it's been really difficult looking for one here in Saskatchewan. And I don't want to move, but all points point to that, and I don't really want to sell my house in the condition that it's in. And like, yeah, I'm getting mud and whatnot on the wall, like I'm finishing the basement, but it's been a fucking chore to do that the last 7 years. Like everything is square. There is no doubt about it. Everything in here is square. Did one wall at a time. I did one room at a time. And then not even a month before COVID happened, my dad's talking to me about doing the deck in the front of the house. And can we finish the basement first? But whatever. Deck's a summer job. I guess to a lot of people, this is a winter job. But I've been stressing out about this for the last 7 years, and now I'm near the end. And I don't know what to do. And, like, I'm not saying I don't want to do the front deck. The front deck needs to be done, but I don't even know what to do. But, once this COVID shit is gone and done with, like I've been stressing out about it because it's, friends have been wanting to leave me, and, friends have already left. They want nothing to do with me, and I'm like, okay, that's fine with me. And then another buddy's like to me, you drink too much. And I'm like, I just have fun online. Literally, I do. That's all this is for anyway. Like I just have fun online. Like gets rid of some stress. Seeing some of the numbers that I accumulate. But like I'm happy that I made 1,000 views within the 6-month span that I've been doing this. And like I've watched Maltern's videos there. Me and him are subscribed to each other. He's a good guy. And I like his videos. Like I'm subscribed to a bunch of other people on here, like, Quartering, Vutex USA, Internet Today. Those guys are fucking funny. The Internet Today boys there, I love their shit. I love Weekly Weird News. I always wait to watch that. And now I got my mom into it, and she's, she likes how they bash Trump all the time. Coming up to 25 minutes. I'll go for 5 more minutes and then I'll stop. I just wanted to try something new. wanted to I had a lot on my mind, and I wanted to get it off the top of my head. Talk about a few things. Some things I can't talk about with the wife, but she's been stressed out too. But I think it's just because husband doesn't have a job and she's the breadwinner. It's hard to find a job in liberal Canada right now, so Jihadi Justin. I don't call him that. I literally don't. I did call him that a couple times on Facebook, and I think I'm going to stop. I'll call him Captain Caveman. The guy looks like a fucking caveman. And if Trudeau ever sees this, he pissed off the wrong people. And I'm not saying that as a threat. I'm just saying that as more of a metaphor. But it is what it is. Wife's coming downstairs, so I'm going to cut her off. Cheers.